Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Rob's Arcade. I'm your host, Rob French, and it is time for some new Game Friday. This is kind of exciting for those of you who have been with me and been watching my channel. You know that New Game Friday doesn't necessarily mean it's a new game or a new title. But for those of you who are new here, New Game Fridays basically doesn't mean it's a new game or a new title, just a new game or a new title in my library. Sometimes it's not a new game or title in my library, but perhaps a title I just haven't done a video on yet, or could be none of those things at all. But today's exciting because this is a new game. This just came out this month, July 2022. Stray, where you play as a cat exploring this abandoned city. Now, when I first started, we're gonna do Slot 2 here. I've been playing a little bit of another game, but we're gonna jump into this, which is relatively fresh in the beginning. I'm not gonna do a jump off video straight from the start of the game because I want to give you guys something to enjoy in case you decide to check this game out, which I recommend you do. It's been one of my favorite titles. When I got home and played this over the weekend, last weekend, I was just having a great time. I was just having a really fun time throughout the week, been playing it. And as you can see, yeah, you're just a cat, you're a stray, exploring this abandoned city. Now, at first, I thought this city would, you'd be the dead city. You would be exploring a city filled with people, like New York, a metropolis. But instead you get this kind of, yes, you can meow on command. You get this kind of like Blade Runner abandoned city, almost like there's been some kind of a zombie apocalypse and all of the humans are now gone. And you're just kind of exploring this city through the eyes, point of view of a cat. There's not a lot of controls right off the bat. Again, I didn't show you the beginning of the game. I want to give you guys something kind of cool to check out. The beginning of the game is very sweet, very colorful, very beautiful. Intro to the game. Run. That's not a very welcoming message. But after a few minutes of playing the game, I was kind of like, wow, this is really it. Like, you can meow and you can jump, and that's about it. And I found myself like almost contemplating, like, really, is this it? Is this all you can do in the game? You can interact with a few things, like you'll find bottles here, you can kind of like kick around and stuff like that, but there's not a whole lot of interaction. Every now and again you might come across something you can like knock over, but a lot of it is just this. You can interact with this, and it seems that the city comes to life. Like there's some kind of like a robotic organism operating throughout the city, and kind of communicating with you and interacting with you. It seems like that's all that's here. As you meow, the camera will not. It seems that's all that's here within the city is like mechanical little robots and lights. It's kind of like a Stranger Things vibe. You'll see some of the lights and stuff will kind of like interact with your meowing later on. But at first, like I said, I was kind of like, oh, this is it? And then I had to quickly remind myself, how often video games can get a little too complicated. So many, button configurations and so many combos. I think I've made the comment, like most older gamers, I'm 42, that, when I was growing up, man, we had like 3 buttons, 2 buttons. Actually, when I first started gaming, it was really just 1 button and a joystick. I go back as far as Atari. Oh, that's kind of weird. I don't think I noticed that the first time. It's like a dead robot. Interesting. But yeah, here we go. See, you get these as you meow. Something is definitely telling you to go this way. It's kind of neat. Something's interacting with you, which is kind of cool. So at first, I thought, like I said, again, it's like, is this it? Like, there's no people. There's just 2 buttons. But there's something very relaxing about this that you just don't get. I was almost like, it took 30 years for them to get the perfect video game. There's different kind of Oh, let me show you. You can kind of come up here and be a cat. Just, you know, just be a cat. Knock those off. You can run a little bit. They do, you know, you got a couple of functions here. You can run. You're going to go ahead and run at these, there we go. So you can... Oh, well. Help. See? Yeah, help. Somebody's calling for help. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, like I said, you know, so many times, like, you know, so much to do in games, and it gets so complicated with the button configurations. I had to remind myself that there's something very, peaceful about this. And I found myself, very much addicted, coming home, like, oh, I gotta hop on and just play as a cat for a few minutes. There's all kind of like little emulators out there too. I was talking to my sister about this because she's a huge cat person. She loves her cats. And she was like, wow, really? That's interesting. I was like, yeah, you know, they've got all kinds of stuff. You can be a bee. I think they have one where you can be a mouse, right? See the world through the point of view of a mouse. And this is just kind of like a little puzzle game that you get to experience, like I said, as a feline. And it's just, I found myself very... happily, you know, surprised by this title. It's free on PlayStation Plus, so like I said, I recommend if you have PlayStation Plus, if you have a PlayStation, you should definitely get the service. You got little puzzles you have to solve here. What did I have to do? Oh, that's right. Yeah, you put the let me see. There you go. You put the bucket in the fan. You stop the fan, and you can progress. Something else that continued to make this game a favorite of mine is I found myself doing a lot of research after playing this game. I do some research a lot of times when I play video games in general, just to kind of give an idea of like who's behind it, you know, who's involved in making the game when it came out, those kinds of things. But I found myself digging a little bit deeper this time. You know, sometimes my research on most video games might go as far as like YouTube or I think this is when I was like, really, this is it. This is what you do in the game. You're just knocking over paint cans. But I found myself doing like a bit more research with this title because the game itself has a little bit of history, a little bit of research done by the creative team who put the game together. One of the things that caught my eye when I was looking at this game and some of the screenshots and gameplay was that it, like I mentioned before, looked very much like Blade Runner or something, like this cool, like, futuristic city. And, oh, neat. And so, that kind of, like, lured me into October 11th. I wonder if there's some importance to that. October 11th. I wonder if it has something to do with the city that the game might be based off of. Interesting. The time. Okay. I wonder if that's the day. If that's even correct. It's probably not correct. I don't think anybody's even around. You can do a little scratching here, clean your claws a little bit. But yeah, upon like looking at like some Wikipedia stuff on the game, I found myself digging a little bit deeper because, like I said, the city that that looks so cool and like that, you know, kind of caught my eye and made me want to, like, you know, check this game out, explore. It's actually based off of a real city. In reading this game, you know, about this game, you know, the plot is you get separated from your other cat friends, and you're trying to, I guess, get back to them, but along the way, you know, you're getting these messages, and of course, like, somebody needs help, and you're traveling through this really cryptic, empty city, which I thought was like just like overrun by like zombies or robots or something. But apparently, like I said, this city is based off of a real city, Kowloon City, the walled city. As I mentioned before, you're trying to get back to your clan, and even at the beginning of the game, one of the locations mentions the walled city, which is kind of neat. So I found myself actually like looking into what is Kowloon, this walled city that really did exist in the history of the United States. And I was blown away. I recommend you guys, after you've checked out this amazing YouTube video, type in Kowloon, Kowloon, Loon. I'll put a hashtag or something in the comment section, or maybe like a link maybe to one of these other videos. Whoa, there you go, buddy. It's truly fascinating, this city that existed in China, that was not owned by either British government or the Chinese government. It was just kind of like this walled city that existed in its own kind of like government, and it was outrageous. It's kind of like whoa, what are these things? Gosh, that's kind of scary. It was just filled with like criminals and drug use, and you know, this like crazy metropolis. But there's also like people like doctors, and they would have like, you know, their dentists, and just all kinds of like professionals within the city too. And it's just like this self-governing I don't want to call it a utopia, because like I said, it was kind of crime-ridden. You know, criminals and different like organized crime syndicates kind of like, you know, ran the show from behind the scenes, and it was kind of dirty and scary. Lots of like hidden corridors, very much like this right here, very much like what we are looking at. This was like a real city that existed, and you would think it would be a city that existed in like the future. But in fact, no, it existed in our past. They tore the city down, I believe, between like 1993 to 1994. But yeah, give yourself like 30 minutes and just, like, you know, check out a couple of like little documentaries on Kowloon City that inspired the creators to create a game that would allow you to explore something like Kowloon City, but through the eyes of a cat, which is pretty cool. The graphics are amazing. The graphics are beautiful. You know, you can kind of like do a little zoom in with the L2 button and kind of look around. But as you can see, it's a city set in like the future. There's robots everywhere, and in fact, I don't know if you guys watch Netflix at all. There is a series called, was it Sex, Love, Death, Robots? Death, Sex, Robot, Love, Death, Robots. What is it? You guys know what it is. Anyway, there's a ongoing like little bit in that little skit in that series where these 3 robots explore this you know, broken society where people no longer exist, and there's like dead bodies everywhere, and come to find out, cats eventually wound up you know, taking over the world. which is very much the plot. Seems like in this game almost like I think they must watch that show as well. But before we go on, actually, since we're talking about that, let me hop into Wiki real quick, and just give you guys some names here of who is actually behind this really fun title. So it says here, produced 2022, as we saw at the beginning, by Blue 12 Studio and Annapurna Interactive. Directors, Kula, Vivian Mermet Guietnet. I'm so bad. I was like, I can't read foreign names or Pokemon names. I'm such a white person. It's so awful. The programmers, Remy, Soares, and Anton. I'm just going to give the first names. There's a writer, Stephen Lerner, which is pretty interesting, and of course put out on the Unreal Engine single player. Kula director, Vivian Mermet Guyanet. Mermet Guyanet. Vivian Mermet Guyanet. That's kind of cool. Interesting. Very interesting. But very small team. The designers, Hugo Dunaswald, Alexandria Brudu, and Matthew Aldrain. Okay, cool. The cat will lay down after a while, kind of like Sonic gets tired. Which is like, it's kind of interesting. I actually mentioned Sonic. I was thinking about that earlier, where it's just kind of interesting where games have kind of gone to where, you know, you start off with these, you know, characters like Mario and Paperboy and what have you. This is not good. Oh, that's cool. Run, kitty, run. Oh, this is probably one of the more intense things in the game you will have to do. But I get kind of worried that there's not stuff to explore in this part of the game, and you're missing it because you gotta run. Although probably, oh no, run, Katie, run. Wonder how many. I wonder if I have 9 lives. Intense. Wow, let's take a breath. Oh my gosh. I did not do that well the first time I ran through that. I think I died a few times the first time I had to run through that. But yeah, I just found it interesting. You know, we went from like playing like as like kind of like humanoid characters, even like Altered Beast. You start off as a guy who changes into kind of like a beast, and then like we have characters that are like semi-animal and humanoid, like Sonic and Bubsy, and then just went full on like, you know, I feel like with the creation of Eco, the dolphin, let's give players a chance to actually play as like an animal and exist in an environment that is something they don't typically, you know, get to see every day. I kind of feel like Sonic, for me anyway, I was thinking about that earlier, I can't really think of a game before Eco the Dolphin that allowed you to play as an animal in that environment. It just kind of allowed you to like explore the ocean. Kind of similar to this, you know, you're a dolphin trying to get back to your family. Here you're a cat, you know, I guess, you know, just trying to get back to your family. It's a very similar premises in the titles, but very cool, very fun concepts as well. You know, we're no longer stuck in that world where, you know, video games have to be action adventure games played by boys. You know, ages 12 to 17 or whatever. So there's kind of something out there for everybody, which is kind of a similar thing I feel like in a lot of Japanese culture, even going into like their manga and their books. You know, here in America, you know, you kind of like, if you get now, you know, I would say the progression has gotten better. But when I grew up, you know, again, I'm 42. I've been reading comic books and playing video games for like 30 years now, and I remember being 12, 13 years old, and it might be cool for you guys now to be reading comic books and going to these movies and being into Thor and stuff like that. But when I was a kid, man, if you read comic books and you were into that kind of stuff, you were kind of a nerd, and you know, you didn't really have a lot of friends. You were kind of a loner. Very much like Stranger Things kind of highlights what it means to be into video games and all of that stuff. And now it's cool, man. Now, you know, you get paid money. See, he even agrees. You get paid money to play video games, and you know, you get sponsors and stuff like that. And it wasn't like that when I was growing up. You're kind of like a nerd. My dad even was like, "No, you had friends growing up." And I'm like, "Dad, all of my friends were nerds, man. We were all just nerds. Like we were friends, but you know, there was just a small group of us, and we all got picked on. We all got bullied for reading comic books and playing video games and stuff." And the Japanese culture, I guess is where I'm going with this, isn't like that, in the sense that, there we go, the little Stranger Things action. I mentioned Stranger Things a couple of times in this video. It's very cool. It's kind of like communicating on the other side there. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, nowadays it's very cool, you know, to read a comic book. But again, like when I was younger, it wasn't so cool. The Japanese culture very different, you know. Todd McFarlane in a documentary on manga once mentioned that, you know, you can go to Japan and see, you know, people, you know, on the subway kind of like huddled around, all reading their books, and nobody looking down at them. You know, it's kind of like just going to see an action movie or whatever, you know, like nobody would like look down at you for going to see Speed or something like that. But you know, you go in the subway, and everybody from businessmen to women, kids, adults, everybody's got a book, everybody's got a manga, and there's a manga out there for everybody. And that's where I'm kind of going again with all of this. If I'm being long-winded, I'm sorry, but it's got to a point now where there's a game for everybody, you know, whether it's on your phone, Candy Crush, or Angry Birds, or whatever it is. I see so many adults now. I work at a restaurant, and just the other day, two of one of my favorite regulars come in. These guys, they're painters. They're these old guys. They're gosh, you know, like my uncle's age, man. They're you know, almost retired, and they play Candy Crush on there. My uncle plays video games. You know, it's like everybody I know, man. We all play these games, and everybody's got their favorite games and stuff. And I just think it's very cool that now, even like, you know, somebody who's not a die-hard gamer, or somebody who's not like, you know, all about completing missions and side quests, can pick up something as cool as Stray and just give it a few minutes and really see the time and effort and the beauty that was kind of put into something like this. This is a really, really, really cool game. Now we're kind of hit a part here where it's kind of like, where do you go? How do you get out of here? I'm going to show you when we come back. We're going to do a part 2 to this video. I'm going to show you a little bit more. We're going to keep going, but we are going to stop right here. I'm going to take a quick break. Remember, guys, this isn't goodbye. Simply to be continued. You know that. There's R4 telling me we got to wrap this up, but yeah, until next time, guys, don't spend that quarter anywhere else. Thank you so much for hanging out. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think of this game. Give me a thumbs up, a little support. Please share the video. You know, somebody out there, maybe you're not a cat person, but maybe your cousin or your sister or your brother or your mother is, and they might think this is a fun game, and you guys can hang out and kind of play this together. And subscribe so you don't miss part 2. All right, guys, I'll be back in a minute. Hang tight. All right, thank you so much.